Welcome to episode 147 of the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business. I'm Brian Fisher. Get ready for the most actionable 15 minutes in business podcasting. This podcast series focuses on the various subjects and topics to help you run a successful, profitable business, and is targeted to business owners and C-suite executives, but anyone interested in business can benefit. It reflects my 34 years as a business owner and subsequent years as a business mentor and consultant. They're approximately 15 minutes long, so you can listen while commuting. In the previous episode, 146, our guest was Jacinver Mansour, discussing Beyond the Download. Today's episode discusses Ultimate Networking with George Dubec. Based out of Boca Raton, Florida, George Dubec is the founder of Ultimate Networking, a company that uses proven business networking methods and techniques for groups and organizations to become the best, most effective networkers they can be. Let's welcome George Dubec. George, welcome to the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
Hey, it's great to be here, Brian. I'm excited. I know you're bringing on some of the best to provide good strategies, advice, and help everybody that's listening be more successful.
Well, thanks for joining us today, George. George, I'm always interested in people's stories. What's your background becoming the founder of Ultimate Networking, a company that uses proven business networking methods and techniques for groups and organizations to become the best, most effective networkers that they can be?
Well, Brian, I found out a long time ago that, and I wish I would have learned this earlier, but networking is one of the keys to be successful in business or even in life. I have three aspects of networking that I focus on. One is business, the second one is social, the third one is family. So we're going to talk about business today. And back in the day, I was at General Motors. I was an engineer for 18 years. I didn't really have to network when you're in the corporate world because I was an engineer based on facts and functioning of products and services and assembly plants. But once I got out in the business world and I bought my job out in 1985 and I moved to Florida, it was a whole new world. And now you had to start developing strategies to become successful as an entrepreneur. So at that point in time, I realized it's now who you know and who knows you. So then I started to realize that networking is critical. So you had to really make great contacts and develop relationships in order to be effective. So that's when I got started building databases, connecting people, referring people, getting referrals, learning how to ask for information, for advice for clients. And that's one of the keys, or a couple of the keys to networking is you got to learn how to ask for what you want, and you have to build a database. You have to have contacts and continually build those contacts and build relationships. So those are some basic elements.
It sounds like you've answered this next question, but how do you help people become more effective networkers?
Well, like I said, I even have my grandkids are in college, and I told them, even at an early age, I said, listen, all your professors, all the kids you meet, get all their contact information. That's the key, is to build that database. And because when you leave college, you might want to get in touch with somebody. And if you don't get their information, they're lost forever. You might want to call an old teacher, an old professor. So that's the start of it, is building that database. In fact, I have right now over 40,000 good email addresses, and they're all in categories. I have attorneys, I have accountants, I have landscapers, I have people that are social, I have people that are single. I broke them all down, and these are 40,000 good email addresses of people that I've connected with. And then, of course, you have your general database, and then you have your inner circle of people that are kind of on a high priority level that you deal with on a regular basis. So you have kind of level 2, which are the people you're associated with, and then you got your inner circle. So you have to develop that inner circle, too, for support, guidance, and mentorship.
We're speaking with George Dubec, founder of Ultimate Networking. George Dubec is considered one of the top business and social networking experts in the USA. Starting his career as an engineer, George became an independent consultant and entrepreneur. He has worked with top companies and organizations to connect people, places, and projects. George is a top connector in the business world, which gives him access to the best resources available. As a nationally recognized speaker about ultimate networking, he presents to groups, organizations, and companies on a national basis. Now, let's get back to the questions. George, to become a more effective networker, what is your performance tracking system?
Well, basically, what I do with that is everywhere that I go, Brian, and this is unique. I've never seen anybody do this, but I have a little transparent box that I carry with me. And in the box are my books, and I have an old-fashioned clipboard, okay, with a form on it. So when I meet somebody, I don't do the old QR code and send me your LinkedIn profile and tap phones and do all that kind of rigmarole and give me your digital card. I ask people here, I bring out my clipboard, say, listen, write down your name, phone number, email address, and website. And then they do that. And underneath that, their information, I write notes. I'm going to call you next week. We're going to set up a meeting. And so they can see that I'm actually going to follow up with them right there on the spot. I'm not going to just suggest we're going to get together or maybe let's call. I'm saying, no, this is what we're going to do after this meeting. So that's very powerful.
George, can you touch on your new book, Ultimate Networking?
Yeah, that book was my, I call it the Bible. I wrote a book called Ultimate Networking. It's a full-blown book. And then I wrote a smaller version called How to Become an Ultimate Networker, 5 Easy Steps. Because I found out in today's world, nobody reads, Brian. Nobody wants to read. In fact, in my book, Ultimate Networking, my last chapter, I put the whole book in bullet points. I condense and summarize all the major thoughts and ideas and strategies, and I put them in bullet points. So somebody, all they have to do is read the last chapter. They don't even have to read the book. So how's that for efficiency?
That's pretty good.
I got an interesting story to tell you, Brian. When I wrote the book, okay, this was about 5 years ago, I thought that I was like one of the best networkers you can imagine. I rated myself as a 9 or a 10. So I actually have a questionnaire in my book. I have like 40 questions you have to take to rate yourself as a networker on a scale of 1 to 10. So after I wrote my questionnaire, I took my own test. And you know what? I rated a 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. And I said, you know what? I really don't do a lot of things that I say like I really should be doing. I'm not really dedicated to doing these things. I say you should do these things, but I'm not doing them all the time. So I had to retrain myself to get myself even as a better networker, even though I knew what to do, I wasn't always doing it. Does that make sense?
It does. What results or lessons learned have you seen with businesses and individuals that have implemented your recommendations?
Well, we've got a big problem today, and you and I talked off record here before the show. We're in this brave new world of AI, high tech, social media, cell phones, and what's happening is the old methods are not working. It's more of like a random type of a scenario now. There's like, remember the book by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People? None of that stuff works all the time. It used to work. It doesn't. And then remember the old phrase that people only do business with people they like? That's not true either. I know a lot of people that like me and they won't do business with me. It's all about money. They'll go with the guy that gives them the best price. They don't care if you're the friend. They don't care about loyalty. They don't care about respect. It's who gives me the best deal. So it's kind of crazy. All you can do is set yourself up to do the basic fundamentals and hope for the best when you're dealing with people in today's world.
We're speaking with George Dubec, founder of Ultimate Networking. George, is there anything I've not asked that you'd like to add?
Well, another key ingredient is just like I said with the clipboard, is follow up and follow through are key. Once you get some information from somebody, you have to follow up within the next day or two. The other thing that I do, Brian, once I get their information on my clipboard, I take a selfie with me and that person. When I get home at night, I send that person a text, great meeting you, with a happy face, and I send a picture of me and them. So now I'm making this whole thing into a relationship as soon as possible. Now, it doesn't always work because, like I said, in today's world, it's hit or miss. And then also, there's a lot of people that will placate you when you meet them. They'll shake your hand. They'll act like they like you. They'll talk about your product and service. And you call them up the next day and you never hear from them again. So, like I said, all you can do is the fundamentals and hope for the best.
George, how can people get in contact with you?
Okay, I got a website called theultimatenetworker.com. That's THE Ultimate Networker, all one word.com. It has all my information. It has my books. I got 6 books I've written, plus a workbook. They can order it from Amazon, or they can fill out a form and get in my database. There's a form on my website. They can get more information or request anything that they would like. And I'm basically now at my stage in life, I'm here to help, Brian. I've already been through the ups and downs of business and life, and I've got a lot of experience and background. And now I just try to give people the best advice I possibly can.
That's pretty much the same place I'm at, George. I just want to be able to help people.
There you go. And boy, do people need a lot of help.
Well, George, thank you for joining us today on the BCF ORG podcast, The Business of Business.
All right. Thanks, Brian. It was great.
My sincere thanks to George Dubec for joining us today. Managing the performance and future direction of your company are 2 of the most important things you do as a leader. And I'm here to help you. If you'd like to reach out to me for business mentoring or consulting, help you with a podcast, schedule a speaking engagement, or potentially be a guest like George, please go to bcforg.com. There's a red Contact Us button in the middle of the homepage. These podcasts will be released the first and third Tuesday each month. And this podcast is available wherever you get your podcast. In search, type BCF ORG. Be sure to leave a space between BCF and ORG. And I'm looking for this podcast to move from an upper mid-tier podcast to a top-tier podcast. Please leave a positive review, let your friends and colleagues know about it, and don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow the podcast. Join us for our next episode, 148, when our guest will be Sheena White, discussing cash flow and financial clarity. In business, running a successful, profitable business is the ultimate scorecard. You are never done and can always be better. It tends to be more fun than work, frustrating at times, but can be very rewarding. From BCF ORG Corp., I'm Brian Fisher, wishing you the best. Thanks.